The hippopotamus is one of the most beloved and popular animals in Africa. Its cute appearance deceives many who don't truly know it. Many people consider them docile, fat, lazy, and slow, when in fact they are responsible for more human deaths in Africa than any other animal. Even more than lions, elephants, leopards, buffaloes, and rhinoceroses combined. Despite feeding exclusively on vegetation, hippos tear off limbs, crush bones, and can devour an entire human being if given the chance. Their enormous mouths and 20-centimeter-long canines are known for chewing up boats and other animals. According to statistics, the chances of surviving an attack by a grizzly bear or a shark are greater than surviving a hippo attack. These animals can weigh over 3 tons and reach speeds of 30 km/h. Combined with the fact that they attack anything that approaches their territory, both in water and on land, and their extremely aggressive and unpredictable nature, they rank at the top of Africa's most dangerous animals list. In our first video on this channel about hippos, I intend to shed some light on these animals and make their true nature clear. We are at a lake that in the past had lush banks adorned with yellow acacia trees and water so clear that one could see the thousands of fish inhabiting it. Flamingos bathed in its waters and colorful butterflies fluttered over its surface. Nowadays, it is no longer like that. There are no longer butterflies or large flocks of flamingos as there once were. Flower production industries extract about 20,000 cubic meters of water per day from the lake, and the papyrus swamps, essential for fish reproduction, are almost dry. Everywhere you look, there are flower greenhouses. This is the Kenyan lake surrounded by volcanic hills, Lake Naivasha. It is a major tourist attraction because of its large populations of hippos and other animals. However, its hippos have become more aggressive lately because the growing human invasion, mainly by fishermen, flower growers, and tourist hotels, has reduced their habitat. The problem has been worsening with the rise in the lake's water level, which has reduced the amount of grazing land available for hippos. As a consequence, the animals are being forced to graze in areas they previously avoided, such as the lawns of tourist hotels or regions where fishermen go to catch crayfish, leading to a sharp increase in attacks on humans. Tourists access the area by boat and then walk on foot to photograph giraffes, buffaloes, gazelles, and sometimes hyenas. Meanwhile, hundreds, perhaps thousands, of hippos bathe near the shore, hidden against submerged fences of the now flooded flower farms, houses, and tourist cottages. The result is a deadly mix: humans and hippos competing for a narrow strip of territory that nature is reclaiming. And the outcome has led to dangerous confrontations from which humans cannot emerge victorious. Still, the lake is a source of life and income for many residents of the region. Many people depend on it to survive, including those who are laid off from local industries and left without means of subsistence. They use the lake for fishing while they seek re-employment in the job market. These people are usually the biggest victims, as their lack of experience and unfamiliarity with the area make them easy prey, as was the case with Mateo Vanco, who was violently attacked by a hippo, with everything captured by photographer Frederico Genoves, who was on site. This is the first of 2 accounts you will learn about in this video. If you are a nature lover, you will certainly enjoy this channel, so be sure to leave your like and subscribe. Consider sharing this content on your social media. This way, you will be helping to raise awareness among more people about the fragile balance between humankind and wild nature. It is early January 2019, and 30-year-old Mateo Vanco is fishing in the lake alongside 4 other fishermen. The men are spread somewhat apart from one another, searching for the best spot to fish. The riverbanks are muddy, with tall grass and difficult terrain to navigate. The fishing rod Mateo is using cannot reach the riverbed with its bait, so he decides to wade further into the lake. The fisherman moves as silently as possible. He doesn't want to scare the fish. At that moment, he hears a loud crash and sees a hippopotamus charging fiercely in his direction. The man, already wary of the dangers lurking in the area, immediately drops his rod and runs as fast as he can through the lake waters, which are at calf height. The hippo is still at a distance but approaching rapidly. The fisherman knows that no matter how fast he runs, he won't stand a chance against the animal in a race. Desperate, he analyzes his options while fleeing from the animal along the muddy riverbanks. The fisherman spots a fallen tree on the ground with a small space beneath it and believes he'll have better odds if he tries to take shelter there. Mateo manages to reach the tree seconds before the massive animal reaches him, and a deadly game of cat and mouse begins. The fisherman quickly wriggles beneath the tree trunk, between the mud and low vegetation, while the animal voraciously searches for a way to grab him. Local residents and tourists observe the situation from a distance but don't know exactly what is happening. Suddenly, a sharp, spine-chilling scream is heard, followed by an eerie silence. Before anyone can react, another anguished scream tears through the air, so loud it sends a group of zebras grazing nearby into a frantic run. The thick trunks beneath the tree provided shelter for only a few seconds before the furious animal managed to break them. The hippo created a large enough gap to reach the fisherman and repeatedly attacks him, biting and trampling the man as he sinks into the mud. The muddy ground and the tree trunk minimize the enraged animal's attacks and prevent the hippo from lifting the fisherman with its mouth and shaking him, as it typically does with its adversaries. The hippo bites his arm, shoulder, and torso with its mouth, a mouth large enough to fit Mateo's entire torso with room to spare. People at the scene try to help the man, who fears for his life. They know that getting close is extremely risky, so they do what they can from a distance. They grab pieces of metal and bang them together, creating loud noises in an attempt to scare the animal away. This seems to work, and the hippo moves away from the fisherman. Fearing another attack, Mateo gathers his strength and runs to a safe location. 10 minutes of intense agony pass before Mateo's ordeal ends. He was rushed to the nearest hospital, where he was treated for external injuries and puncture wounds to his torso. Since then, he has made a full recovery. Still in the hospital, the fisherman said he was a lucky man and thanked God for being alive and for all the people who helped him. "God is good because I am alive. God bless you all," he said to those who rescued him. The general consensus among witnesses to the incident is that the fisherman was incredibly fortunate to be alive. 2 other men died in the same lake with only a few hours between the attacks. The second account you will learn about in this video took place in 2021 at the same Lake Naivasha. A 28-year-old tour guide named Samuel Kipkoech was leading a group of tourists on a photographic safari when he decided to step out of the vehicle to check a trail near the lake's edge. Samuel walked calmly, unaware that an adult hippopotamus was hidden among the tall grasses and low vegetation. Suddenly, the animal emerged from the shallow waters and charged at high speed toward the guide. Samuel tried to run back to the vehicle but tripped over an exposed root and fell onto the muddy ground. The hippopotamus did not hesitate. It lunged at the man, opening its enormous jaws and sinking its sharp canines into his right arm. The guide screamed in pain as the animal partially dragged him into the water. Tourists who witnessed the scene panicked and began shouting, banging on the vehicle doors in an attempt to distract the hippo. One of the tourists, a former South African military officer, kept his composure and began firing shots into the air with his firearm, a precaution he carried while traveling in wildlife areas. The loud noise of the gunfire startled the animal, which released Samuel and slowly retreated into deeper waters. The guide was quickly rescued and airlifted by helicopter to a hospital in Nakuru. He suffered multiple fractures in his arm, deep puncture wounds to his torso, and significant blood loss. After several surgeries and months of recovery, Samuel survived but was left with permanent injuries that prevented him from returning to work as a safari guide. This case reinforces just how unpredictable and dangerous hippos can be, even for experienced professionals who work daily in contact with wildlife. The animal was not hunting for food. Hippos are herbivores, but acted out of territoriality, perceiving the guide as a threat to its comfort zone. These 2 accounts vividly illustrate the silent danger that hippos represent. Despite their clumsy and even comical appearance, they are extremely territorial, unpredictable animals endowed with brutal strength capable of taking human lives in a matter of seconds. It is important to emphasize that hippos do not attack out of malice or because they are predators. They are herbivores. Their attacks are primarily motivated by 2 factors: territorial defense and protection of their young. When a human inadvertently approaches a hippo in the water or invades its habitual route between the lake and grazing areas, the animal perceives this as a direct threat and reacts with extreme violence. The situation at Lake Naivasha exemplifies a growing problem across Africa. The conflict between humans and wildlife due to population expansion, degradation of natural habitats, and competition for scarce resources. As ecosystems are altered by human activities, such as excessive water extraction, deforestation, and agricultural expansion, animals like hippos are forced to adapt their behaviors, often dangerously approaching human communities. Peaceful coexistence requires awareness, respect for nature's boundaries, and effective conservation policies. Tourists and local residents must be educated about the risks and best practices to avoid dangerous encounters. Maintaining a safe distance, never positioning oneself between a hippo and the water, avoiding walking near bodies of water at night, and respecting these animals' grazing areas. Hippos are not monsters. They are magnificent animals that play a crucial role in African aquatic ecosystems. But their strength, territoriality, and unpredictability demand our utmost respect. Remember, that smiling mouth hides one of the most powerful jaws in the animal kingdom, capable of opening 150 degrees and exerting enough pressure to crush an adult crocodile. Respect nature, admire from a distance, and never underestimate a hippopotamus.